Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving into some absolutely incredible wisdom straight from the biblical text. We're going to be exploring Proverbs chapter 24, verses 19 through 22 from the NIV. And this passage is really all about choices. It lays out two very different paths we can take in life. So, let's uncover this together.
Okay, let's kick things right off with a question I think we've literally all asked ourselves at some point. Do people doing the wrong thing seem to have more fun? I mean, really think about it. Have you ever watched someone, maybe throwing paper airplanes when the teacher's back is turned, or skipping ahead in line at recess, and they just look like they're having an absolute blast? It can be super tempting to copy them, right? You might catch yourself thinking, hey, they aren't following the rules at all, and they look like they're having way more fun than I am.
Well, guess what? The biblical text speaks directly to that exact feeling. The very first part of our reading today, Proverbs chapter 24, verse 19, says, "Do not fret because of evildoers or be envious of the wicked." You see, the writer knows exactly what it feels like to secretly wish you could just join in on all that rule breaking. But he is telling us to pause, take a breath, and completely change our mindset. So let's break down a couple of these words to really understand what we're being told here. To fret basically means to worry, be annoyed, or just get really upset about something. When you watch someone else break the rules and seemingly get away with it, it's so easy to let it bug you. But God doesn't want us stressing out or getting all bothered when others misbehave. He wants us to keep our focus on doing what is right, rather than letting their bad choices ruin our peace of mind. And then there's that next big word, evildoers. Sounds intense, right? But evildoers are simply people who purposefully do bad things or break the rules. This is anyone actively choosing to do the wrong thing, knowing full well that it's wrong. The biblical text is warning us not to be jealous of them and definitely not to copy them. I mean, sure, it might look fun for a minute, but that path doesn't lead anywhere good.
Actually, let's see how this builds in the very next verse. Proverbs 24, verse 20 says, "For the evildoers has no future hope, and the lamp of the wicked will be snuffed out." This really shows us the ultimate consequences. While breaking the rules might seem super exciting right in this very second, the biblical text tells us that there is no real lasting future in it. The fun simply doesn't last.
Snuffed out. Just imagine a brightly burning lamp. It's giving off all this light, it looks warm and cozy, but then suddenly, whoosh, it gets snuffed out. Everything goes pitch black. The biblical text uses this super dramatic picture to show us exactly what happens to those who choose to ignore him and do wrong. Their lamp turning off represents a sudden loss of hope. It's a powerful reminder that the path of doing wrong eventually just leads right into darkness.
So if we aren't supposed to follow that dark path, what path should we take? Well, that brings us right to Proverbs 24, verse 21. "Fear the Lord and the king, my son, and do not join with rebellious officials." This is shifting our focus entirely to the path of true wisdom. The advice here is directed straight to my son, which honestly means it's for all of us, his children. We are being told to deeply respect and honor God, always putting him first. And we are also told to respect the kin, which means respecting the earthly leaders and authorities that he has actually placed in our lives. Notice how clearly these two ways of living are contrasted here. It's literally like night and day. On one side, we have the evildoers, whose path leads to their lamp being snuffed out in total darkness. On the flip side, we have those who fear the Lord. Following him, respecting his rules, and listening to the leaders he gives us leads to a bright, steady, awesome future. It's not some quickly fading lamp. It's a solid, glowing path built right on wisdom. But wait a second. The verse also told us not to join with rebellious officials. What does that actually mean for us? Well, rebellious means fighting against people in charge or flat out refusing to obey the rules. In our everyday world, this looks like talking back to your teachers, ignoring your parents, or just constantly fighting against the rules for no reason. The biblical text is highly specific here. Don't join them. Seriously, don't team up with people actively fighting against authority. Now, why is it so absolutely crucial to stay away from that rebellious crowd? Let's read the final verse of our biblical text today. Proverbs 24, verse 22. It warns us, "For those too will send sudden destruction on them, and who knows what calamities they can bring." This is a deeply serious warning about what happens when people make the choice to rebel against him and the leaders he has put in charge. It doesn't just result in a little tiny bit of trouble. It brings sudden destruction. And you'll notice the text uses a very big, important word there, right at the end, calamities. Let's make absolutely sure we understand this one. Calamities are disasters or terrible events that cause a whole lot of sudden trouble. We are just talking about getting a quick time out here. The biblical text is emphasizing the serious, highly unpredictable trouble that bad choices can invite right into our lives. When we step off his path and decide to rebel, we essentially open the door to calamities, messy, difficult situations that we really don't want to deal with. So, the really crucial point here is this: bad choices have a domino effect. Have you ever lined up a huge row of dominoes and tipped that very first one over? They all fall down, one after another, super fast. Well, that is exactly how this chain reaction works. First, it starts with just joining in with rebellious people. Next, that leads to facing sudden destruction. And finally, it brings unknown calamities. One single bad decision can so easily knock over a whole chain of sudden troubles. So here is the absolute most important question for you to think about today. Which path are you going to choose? Will you watch the rule breakers, get a little bit jealous, and risk letting your lamp get snuffed out? Or will you boldly choose to trust him completely and walk the bright, solid path of wisdom? The wisdom from the biblical text is truly timeless, but hey, the choice is entirely yours. Next time you see someone breaking the rules and having fun, ask yourself, do I want a spark that fades out or a path that shines forever?